Boys paid me to write notes to other girls on their behalf. They trusted me. They had this notion that I knew what to say. I just wrote whatever I thought that particular girl wanted to hear and collected dollar bills on delivery. The notes my friends showed me were no work of mine, but I kept my business quiet, so it stands to reason that if anyone else had a similar business, they'd have been discreet about it too. When my hair started to darken, I combed peroxide through it. As for character, mine developed without haste or fuss. I didn't interfere. It was all there in the mirrors. Suppose you're born in the Lower East Side of Manhattan in the year 1930-something. Suppose your father's a rat catcher. Your absent mother is never discussed, to the extent that you nurse the theory that you're a case of spontaneous generation. The interior of the house you grow up in is pale orange and rust brown. At dawn and sunset, shadows move like hands behind the curtains. Silhouettes of men with brill-creamed waves in their hair gathered on the street corner to sing about their sweethearts in 7-part harmony, the streetcar whispering along its track, Mrs. Phillips next door beating blankets. Your father is an old-fashioned man. He kills rats the way his grandfather taught him. This means that there are little cages in the basement, usually a minimum of 7 at any given time. Each cage contains a rat, lying down and making a sound somewhere between twittering and chattering, lack, 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 kerr, kerr, kerr. The basement smells of sweat. The rats are panicking, starving. They make those sounds, and then you see holes in their paws and in their sides. There's nothing else in that cage with them, and all your father does to them at first is give them water, so it stands to reason that it's the rats making the holes, eating themselves. When your father's about to go out on a job, he goes to the basement, selects a cage, and pulls its inhabitants' eyes out. The rats that are blind and starving are the best at bringing death to all the other rats. That's your father's claim. Your father puts 3 or 4 cages in the trunk of his car and drives away. He comes back late in the evening when the job's done. I guess he makes a lot of money. He does business with factories and warehouses. They like him because he's very conscientious about the cleanup afterward. So that's Papa. Cleanest hands you'll ever see in your life. He'll punch you in the kidneys from behind, or he'll thump the back of your head and walk away sniggering while you crawl around on the floor, stunned. He does the same to his lady friend, who lives with you, until he starts going for her face. She'll put up with a lot, but not that. One day, she leaves a note under your pillow. It says, "Look, I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I'd say you deserve better. Take care of yourself." You don't get too upset about her departure, but you do wonder who's going to let you bum Lucky Strikes now. You're all of 15, and you're a jumpy kid. You don't return people's smiles. It's perfectly clear to you that people can smile and still be villains. One of the first things you remember is resting your head against the sink. You were just washing your hair in it, and you had to take a break because when your hair's wet, it's so heavy you can't lift your head without your neck wobbling. So, you're resting, and that clean hand descends out of nowhere and holds you face down in the water until you faint. You come around lying on the bathroom floor. There's a burning feeling in your lungs that flares up higher the harder you cough, and the rat catcher's long gone. He's at work. Where does character come into it? Just this. I've always been pretty sure I could kill someone if I had to. Myself or my father. Whichever option proved most practical. I wouldn't kill for hatred's sake. I'd only do it to solve a problem. And only after other solutions have failed. That kind of bottom line is either in your character or it isn't, and like I said, it develops early. My reflection would give me a slow nod from time to time, but would never say what she was thinking. There was no need. A couple of teachers asked me if I was applying to college, but I said, can't afford it. Actually, I was pretty sure that the rat catcher could. But I didn't want to have that, or any